Alright everybody, so today I wanted to talk about actually tightening the trem system on my guitar, and I'll go over a little bit of intonation as well. But basically I'm making this because when I was looking online I couldn't find anything about it, well, anything in particular for my brand. Which is this lovely Charvel DK24 HSH OC Orange Crush, I believe. So basically, while I was playing around with this, I was abusing the trem system, and after a while it started to get floppy. Now let me tell you, you do not have to live with a floppy trem system. There are solutions. Basically, if we examine it from below, and if you look really closely, you'll notice there is a tiny hole at the bottom of your trem where it actually shifts. I will try to get it in perfect light, but you could see it right about here. What you need to do is find yourself an Allen wrench that will fit into that point. Now this is true for almost any guitar with a floating trem that is not screw-in. By that I mean I could just take the trem, pull it out, and push it in and it'll stay. But you have the option of adjusting it from being loose and floppy to being tight where it will stay in place. Now we are going to use a couple tools to initially adjust this. First tool, this Allen wrench key system. Now please note I am using the millimeter rather than the SAE, which is Standard American Engineering, I believe. This is basically what they will use on cars. What we want is just millimeters. And we are going to go to our smallest millimeter actual tool, which is 1.5. I will adjust it so we can see it. It is still very hard to see, but I am using the smallest one. I have searched around, and this is the point that will actually fit into this tiny hole right below the trem. Now in some trems it'll be right here attached to it. In other trems you will actually have to push the trem down and it'll be underneath. However, luckily mine is right here. All you need to do is insert it into this tiny little space. It's more difficult because I'm trying to do it where the camera can see, and then just twist it ever so slightly until it becomes tight. So now, instead of being floppy, it'll stay in place, which is nice for me when I'm using my trem. But if, for example, you don't like it tight and you like it to be a little looser so it'll fall away when you're not playing, you can just twist it the other way. Now, if you haven't watched my previous videos, it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You know, standard, just talk. It comes in handy in life and in general. Now, you can tighten it to whatever you wish. However, note, when you tighten it, it will be harder and harder to take out the trem and actually reinsert it. For example, I had to use quite a bit of force. And to push it back down, there we go. Now, however, I could play around, and it'll stay wherever I leave it, rather than falling down to this low position. Alright, so for our next short session, I actually want to talk about intonation, because when you have a floating trem, your intonation will go out quite a bit if you don't have it adjusted. For example, if a string snaps, your entire guitar could be out of tune. But that is with one of these trem systems that are floating. It's not attached to the bass. It can go either way. Now, to adjust this, we need a couple tools. One thing, you're going to want a tuner. Something that'll tell you when you are in tune or not. I'll talk about why in a second. Next, you are going to want a screwdriver. One of these tiny screwdrivers that will actually reach into these bottom sockets. And a drill. Because it's never a bad idea to have a drill. No, we probably won't use the drill. So essentially, your guitar is perfectly intonated when you're tuning at the open string and the 12th fret are even. this is slightly high, for example. It's pretty close. Now, in order to intonate your guitar, you are going to take this bottom section, and we are actually going to screw it either clockwise to make it a little sharper or counterclockwise to make it a little less sharp. Now, I don't think this will stand if I want it to, so we'll just focus on it. Do 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 do. There we go. So we start with our our high E. Perfectly in tune. Now then, a little sharp. So we are going to take our screwdriver, insert it into this bottom portion, and screw it ever so slightly counterclockwise. Let's see. Now it's a little flat there. Perfect. If you didn't see that, once again, we are taking our screwdriver and testing when the string is open and when the string is at the 12th fret. Hold it down. If it's perfect, it'll be exactly the same at both positions, which basically means your strings are the same height. If it is slightly off, you're going to turn it counterclockwise to loosen the string, or to make it a little less sharp at the 12th fret, or clockwise if you want to tighten it. For example, a little sharp still. We'll take it in, turn it slightly counterclockwise. Perfect. And we just want to do that with every string. So when you're done, it'll sound just as good when you're playing They should both be about the same. Now, please note, my guitar is not plugged in. As usual, I do not like to work on my guitar when it's plugged into electrical sources for fear of being electrocuted and possibly dying. However, I hear that it'll take a lot of energy to actually kill you. So maybe next time I'll actually have it plugged in and we'll see what happens. But that was a brief explanation of how to actually tighten up your trem and set some intonation on my type, or basically any type of guitar with this system. Now, this is just, I believe it's a gotoh. I'll look it up to make sure, and then I'll make a box up somewhere that says what it is exactly. But it's the floating trem system that comes with your Charvel, Pro K, Pro Mod, DK, whatever. There's so many names and titles out there. I'll add it to the description to get it exact, but you know, when it comes down to it, it's just about what makes you comfortable when you play. I prefer having the trem stay where I leave it. So if I want to reach for it and know it will be there when I reach for it, instead of it being at a different location or just dropping. You know, it kind of derails your playing, or at least it does for me. I'm sure some people will prefer to have it a little floppier, so when they grab it and slam it and put it back down, it'll just drop and they know where to reach for it. Anyway, this is just a video I made because I didn't see too many explanations about actually tightening back up this trem so it doesn't go floppy, it doesn't become loose. And I wanted to make sure I share this knowledge. If you have any other questions, if you have any ideas for videos, let me know. Or if you just want to say hi, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe. And as always, have a great day. I'm just going to keep on keeping on. I am working with lighting systems at the moment, and I haven't found one I like just yet. My last one burned a hole through the chair. So this one doesn't. This is just a light coming from my cell phone. If you stayed this long, now you know. See you again soon. Please be sure to subscribe, like if you like. I am going to keep doing this no matter what. Bye-bye.